Welcome back to the Connected Automotive homepage. My name is Antony Cockle, and we are now going to go back into sales training and the sales process and look at the fourth stage, which is vehicle demonstration. So having presented the vehicle previously and confirmed that it does meet the needs and the wants of the prospective customer, the next stage is to arrange for a test drive. And generally it's best to strike while the iron's hot and to try and do the test drive while they are excited about the car. Obviously, if decision makers aren't available or someone's missing, you may want to reappoint. But the main thing is to let the customer try the car. If they really like it, they're far more likely to want to reserve the car, even if it means making another appointment for a second person to come back into the dealership or for you to visit them. The main thing with test driving is to make sure the customer is very comfortable, and also there'll be a big difference between your brand new or pre-owned, clean and excellently presented vehicle and probably what they're driving currently. And also it's quite nice to drive something different. It could be nerve-wracking for some people, but it's just important to spend some time and treat customers always as if they're going to buy. And it's very difficult to buy without a test drive. I do know some people who almost pride themselves on objecting to test drives and buying almost as a sort of act of bravado, but the majority of people will drive a car, and it's important to be very committed to that as an intention. Before the test drive, obviously ensure that vehicles are clean and fueled. Identify the best route for the customer, so depending on the type of driving they do, as a business you should have 2 or 3 different routes that are pre-planned. And also it's really important to let your manager or a senior manager know when you're heading out. You must have a demonstration form signed and a copy of the driving license for insurance purposes and also for safety purposes. Finally, if you have a bad feeling about the customer or customers and you just don't feel comfortable, go with the gut feeling. So either take a colleague with you or reappoint them for another time, but just make sure that you feel very safe when you're doing this. I've been involved in situations where a salesperson's been turfed out of the car and the car has been stolen before. It's fairly rare for this to happen, and if you follow the proper protocols, then it's less likely to happen to you. During the test drive, it's important that the car is warmed up by the salesperson, and also to demonstrate how well the car can be driven. When you swap over, make sure you're in a quiet area and ensure that you take the keys out and move the seat back, so the customer then has to adjust the seat to the best position and the steering wheel and the mirrors, and just check that they have a very comfortable position and they feel at ease in that position. And the other thing is, in some ways you become the driving instructor, but remember the customer is new to the vehicle and they will need their full attention probably on what they're doing, so don't distract them with lots of questions. Let them ask questions and then really just direct them, tell them where you're heading and say, left at the next junction and so on, if that feels appropriate. After the test drive, then bring them back to the dealership, and sometimes I know people who say the sold cars are parked over there quite cheekily and they can get away with that. But make sure that the car is parked somewhere out of the main traffic route within the dealership, so that if they want to sit in it or they want to have another look around, they can without feeling under any pressure. And mainly, the other option, if there is a lack of space, then it would be good for you to park up or one of your colleagues, so in which case pull over and just say, we'll get someone else to park the vehicle up. Are there any questions? Let's have a look around if that's what's required. But you'll know by their questions whether they're happy to move to the next stage. And they'll be asking questions such as, how soon would this one be available? Or how long do you need to service the vehicle or prepare it? Or if I wanted one in black, what's the delivery time? So if those buying signals haven't come out already, they are most likely to come out at the end of the test drive. One of the things that's really important is to let the customer pressurize you, and if they put you under pressure with information, that gives you permission to reflect and to use that question to close. So then you might say, okay, so if we could get it in black within the next 21 days, would you be happy in principle to place the order now? So when we go in, I'll sit down and run through the figures with you. I'll also introduce you to my business manager, who can go through the different options in terms of how the vehicle is funded, and you can then make up your mind as the best way to go. So whatever you do, you should have in your head a planned route for moving from the test drive into a situation where they're sat down they're comfortable, and at that point there's almost an assumptive situation about, right, let's get the order form out and start putting the specification together that they're looking to buy, and also to work out the list price on that vehicle. Again, it's a good time now to offer tea and coffee.